What's up, guys? Welcome back to the poker vlog. This is episode number 65, and for this one, we've played the marathon event. It's awesome. Very excited. Sometimes I put out videos and they suck, like the last one I put out. Let's just be real. Sometimes they're not that good. But this one, I'm pumped about. But before we get into it, I just want to briefly go over kind of why I haven't, why there's been a little bit of a break between the last vlog that I put out and this one. For one thing, the series ended and just kind of wanted to relax a little bit. Played quite a bit of poker, so it was just nice to have a little bit of a break. But then also, I wasn't feeling that confident with myself, and I ended up having what's called enhancement surgery. Here's a photo of me before the surgery. Look how happy I am to get this done. And I've just been recovering from that basically the last couple weeks, and it's really taken its toll on me physically. Okay, no, I had a tonsillectomy. I had problems with strep throat in March and April. Just got it like 4 or 5 times over a 2-month period. Was constantly on antibiotics, and I was exhausted. Finally, I kind of recovered from it, but my tonsils were still enlarged, and the doctor recommended that I get them removed. So July 17th, I had a surgery. The last 2 weeks, I've been recovering at home and haven't really been on social media or been doing too much. It hurt pretty bad. So finally feel well enough to get back after it, get back after the vlogs, and I'm gonna put out a lot of stuff soon that I'm excited to put together. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. We registered for the $2,620 World Series of Poker Marathon event during Level 2. The structure is amazing. The tournament is great for cash game players since you start out with a lot of chips and the levels are 1 hour and 40 minutes each. It's a grueling, long tournament. It truly feels like a marathon. We head to our seat in the pavilion room and get our starting stack of 26,200 in chips. Luckily, we get a decent table draw and we chip up early. Good start to my first level of the day. It was level 2, late registered a little bit, but I'm up to 36,000. Still a really long day, 4 more levels to play. They're 100-minute levels. 3-bet a few times and won all those pots. Nothing too exciting happened though. Won a few times with just a high card, which is nice. We'll try and keep it going. Level 3 is when things really start to pick up. With blinds at 150, 300, and 25 antes, I pick up pocket aces to under the gun +1. Now over the years, I've studied poker a lot. I've read dozens of poker books, joined plenty of training sites, and I've conducted a lot of research on my own regarding pre-flop strategy. As it turns out, pocket aces are the #1 starting hand that you could possibly have, unless you find yourself in this nightmare of a situation and it turns out pocket 7s and Jack 10 suited both have you crushed. But that scenario luckily doesn't happen too often, so I'm really happy to have aces here, especially when the player under the gun opens a 700. The pre-flop raiser is YOSIF. He's alive at the bike reg. Cool dude. Now the action's on us, and sometimes I'll flat a raise in this position with aces because it looks so strong to 3-bet from under the gun +1 when the initial pre-flop raiser opens from under the gun. The hope would be that someone behind me would then 3-bet with a legitimate hand or possibly as a squeeze. Then when the action's back on me, I could put on a suspicious looking 4-bet. The problem with that is most of the players behind me are not 3-betting. I don't want to end up playing this hand with multiple opponents. I'd rather play in position, heads up, or possibly take it down pre-flop. YOSIF could have a pretty good hand as well. Since he opened from under the gun, I imagine his range is pretty tight. So I 3-bet and I make it 2,000. Folds back to YOSIF. Instead of calling the 3-bet, he 4-bets to 7,000. We both have over 100 big blinds, which is piles at this point. I again have a decision to make. I'd love to get all the chips in, but if I 5-bet, he could potentially fold all kinds of huge hands. I imagine he could even fold ace-king or pocket queens. I could flat, let him think he's ahead. If he has a hand like pocket queens or pocket kings, I could let him turn ace-king into a bluff on the flop, or on the off chance that he's bluffing with a hand like ace-5 of diamonds, I can let him continue to bluff. I don't want to play games though. This is already a very big pot for this stage of the tournament. I'm happy to win it, and I don't think he'd fold pocket kings to a 5-bet anyway. I make it 17,000. YOSIF surprisingly 6-bet jams for 16,000 more. I make the call, and I'm in the best situation I could imagine. I'm up against ace-king offsuit, so I'm a huge favorite. The flop comes king high. That's all the help YOSIF would get though. My pocket aces hold up, and I win a massive pot of nearly 70,000. I win a few more hands, and I have my stack up to 85,000 before picking up pocket queens and the hijack. I open to 900, the big blind calls, and the flop comes queen 10-9 rainbow. The big blind checks. We've got top set on a connected board, and we're in position. This is turning out to be a fantastic day. I bet 700. The big blind now raises to 2,000. We're in another interesting spot. There are only 2 hands that beat me. I'm on the fence about whether to call or raise. Ultimately, I elect to call the bet. There are potentially a lot of scary cards that could come out, but there are still plenty of blanks and several cards that will improve our hand to either boat or better. One added benefit of flatting is that it keeps the opponent's bluffs in too. I have the world, so there's at least some chance he's bluffing here, or, he's got the nuts. In that case, I don't want to raise either though. The turn is a magical card. It's the 9 of clubs, giving us the second nuts. There's only one possible combination that has us beat now. The big blind is a real splendid guy and bets 3,300. I appreciate the chips. I certainly don't see any reason to raise. Most of the time, I'll have the opponent drawing stone dead. The river is the king of spades. Should be a decent card to get all the chips in the middle. If he has queen 9, jack 9, pocket 10s, jacks, king jack, jack 10, or jack 9, we're going to be getting all the marbles. Big blind leads river for 5,000. He has 6,000 remaining. I raise enough to cover him. He probably knows he's beat at this point, but wouldn't be able to live with himself if he were to fold to a 6K bet when there's almost 30,000 in the pot. He eventually makes the call. I turn over the pocket queens, and it turns out he flopped the nuts with king jack offsuit. I get very lucky and drill the turn to win another huge pot. My stack is over 100,000. And I'm near the very top of the leaderboard. He flopped the straight. I got really lucky on the turn. I'm up to just over 100K, so that's awesome. Really, really good way to start this tournament. Pretty much like one of the best starts I've ever had for a World Series event. Still a ton of time to go. Even just to get through today, there's 3 more 100-minute levels, and then it's going to be like 5 levels tomorrow before anyone makes some money. But excited for now. Just got to keep trying to play well, but I'm running insanely good. It's level 4 now. Blinds are 200, 400 with 50 antes. I've got the biggest stack on my table, and I want to keep my foot on the gas to put my opponents in tough spots. 4th level just ended, so we're on dinner now. Put some pressure on some people in this one. In the first interesting hand, I pick up deuces in the cutoff. I open to 1,100. The small blind and the big blind both call. Flop comes ace queen 3 with 2 hearts and 1 diamond. Checks to me. I bet 1,500. The small blind folds. Big blind calls, so we're heads up. Big blind has kind of a medium-sized stack. He's less than starting stack. Good candidates. Maybe bluff. Put a little bit more pressure on. The turn is an offsuit 5, so I pick up a gutter. And the big blind checks. He didn't really seem to be too happy when he called the flop bet, so I decided to continue now that I've got some more outs. Made it 2,500, and he folded, so we got that one through, which is good. Next big hand, pick up queen 10 offsuit in the big blind. Player in middle position opens up to 1,100. I make the call. The flop comes jack 10 7 rainbow. I check, and the player checks back. The turn is 6 of hearts, so there's 2 hearts out there now. I check, and this time the player in middle position bets 2,300, which is kind of odd. I don't really know what he's representing unless he has like pocket jacks, or maybe he turned a set. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me, so I go ahead and make the call. The river is a 3 of clubs. I check, and middle position player checks back, and queen 10 is good, so we win that one. The last big hand happened at the very end of the level. I have king queen of diamonds. The player under the gun min raises, opens to 800. I decide to 3-bet in the cutoff and make it 2K. The button cold calls,
and the player under the gun calls as well. So we go 3 ways to the flop. It comes Jack 10-7 rainbow, 1 diamond. The player under the gun checks. I bet 2,800. The button calls, and the player under the gun folds. The turn is a 7 of hearts. I decided to continue. I have a really good image, and I bet 7K. The button tank folds and shows a jack, so we got that one through, and we're up to 120K on the dinner break. Really good start. Still tons of time to go. Even, I mean, there's 2 more 100-minute levels today, but we're feeling good.
We come back from dinner to start level 5. Blinds are at 250-500 with 75 antes. It's another fun level. Early on, we pick up ace king of spades in middle position. The player under the gun opens to 1,000. He has a short stack. I 3-bet to 4,000. I'm hoping to get it in with him. The tightest guy at the table ruins my plans though and ends up 4-betting from the button to 10K. Folds back to me. This is alarming because I noticed in an earlier hand that this player didn't even 3-bet jacks, and here he is 4-betting me. I imagine he's got a very narrow range, either aces, kings, or ace king, possibly queens, but it doesn't seem likely. I consider folding. I just can't get myself to do it. I call, and the flop comes ace 9-4 with 2 clubs and 1 spade. So we've got top with the backdoor flush draw. Note that this is a significantly better flop than if we paired our king instead, since there's only 1 combination of hands that beats us that we thought our opponent could have, compared to 4 combinations if the flop came king high. I check, the button bets 10,000 again, I make the call. I figured we probably have the same hand, and I'm gonna check raise turn almost no matter what. The turn is the 6 of spades, giving us a draw to the nut flush. I check, the opponent now bets 25,000 with about 25,000 behind. I shove as planned. The button doesn't snap call, so we're in great shape. He obviously doesn't have a set of aces. He almost 100% has ace king, and we're gonna be free rolling. The player tanks for a full minute or 2, and he's saying out loud that he thinks I could either have a set or ace king of spades. If he somehow folds ace king, it would be a dream come true. I don't mind a call that much either though. Ultimately, he does make the call. He turns over ace king. At best, he'll be chopping with me. On the other hand, I'm praying for a spade. I know I haven't been to church much lately, / ever, but if you could just help me out this once and put a spade on the river, this is gonna be a massive pot, and I think everybody is under the impression that I'm terrible at poker after that tag team video that Andrew put out when I punted off, I punted off the whole stack. And actually, if you could just have Andrew take that video down, that might help a lot. But one thing at a time, just I'd really appreciate it if you put out a spade. Thanks. Amen.
I'm free rolling. You call?
Yeah, you got ace king of spade. Yeah, that's what I thought.
You got ace king in a river.
And the river is the 6 of hearts. God damn it.
I don't want to do that again ever.
I know, man. This is the guy here. This is him.
Yeah.
Got it in ace king versus ace king. Nice call.
Yeah.
Scary.
Crazy.
That would have been a huge pot.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah. So he opens, that guy, he opens from early position to 1,300. The button makes the call. He's short stack. I think he started with 15K. I am in the small blind with 6-5 of hearts. Decide to call for about 1,000 more. So we go 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes Jack 8-3 rainbow. I've got backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draws. I check. The pre-flop raiser checks, and the button bets 1,500. So he was short. I thought there was some chance he's just taking a stab at it. I go for the check raise. I hadn't shown a bluff the whole day, so I thought I'd get a lot of respect. I make it 4K. The initial pre-flop raiser folds, and the button calls. So I imagine he's just got me crushed. But it doesn't stop me. The turn is a 6. I was hoping it was going to be the 4 of hearts, but it wasn't. And I just rip it in for 10K effective, and The opponent snap calls, he's got ace jack. Still have some outs, but the river is a 10, no help. He doubles up. So I was at around like 100K at that point, but I won a few hands after that and got back up to 115 or so.
Final break ends, we go into level 6 with a big stack still, but shortly into the level, we get moved and suddenly we're sandwiched between two players that have us covered. It's pretty unlucky for us because it makes it a lot more difficult for us to put pressure on smaller stacks at the table. Oh look, there's Matt Berkey. He's a pretty cool guy. Nothing too eventful happens the rest of the night. We don't get involved in any big hands, and our stack doesn't fluctuate much before we bag up, concluding the best day one I've ever had to start a WSOP event.
Finished day one, making the first day two of the World Series. Bricked 3 other events, bubbled the Colossus, and busted out in the first level on 2 other events. So it's nice to make a day 2. Got about 118,000.
Scandalous high school. Holy shit.
Should be pretty good for tomorrow. I think I had like 150 big blinds. Okay, so this is my roommate for the summer, Nick. Final table, what did you final table the other day?
1,500 horse.
1,500 in the last 5 days. Final table 2 events. When are you gonna win one?
I'm going to try to win the study, and I got a bunch of chips and 2 more levels today.
Yeah, so you final table 1 and then you jump right into the study.
I took 2 hours off.
Yep, and what'd you start out with?
7,500, and I have 43K. So things are
So
going good.
he might be the best of all time. Pretty good day for the house
Trying to set
so
some
far.
records. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get 2 bags.
That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely get back to you. A few announcements. The first one is that Andrew and I are hosting a meetup game August 1st. That'll be Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the WestGate here in Las Vegas. So if you're in town, come hang out with us, have some drinks, play some poker. We've been doing double board bomb pots, which are awesome. It's like a normal bomb pot, except for we have 2 separate runouts and you have to win both to scoop the pot. So makes for some pretty interesting situations. Also, I'm doing live at the bike August 14th through August 16th. Probably play 2 of those nights. I'm not sure if I'll play all 3 just yet, but that'll be awesome. The lineup for that's going to be fun, and it's just cool to play on live streams. I'm going to be doing that live stream. I'm going to be doing another one in Portland shortly after, and Andrew and I, we're going to be doing some meetup games all over. So be sure to follow us on Twitter and on Instagram to get the latest updates, to make sure that you're not missing out on any meetup games near you. Finally, I've got a poker forum site that I started about a year ago with my brother. It's called offthefelt.com. We've got between 1,400 and 1,500 members, and it's a thing that I'm most proud of doing over the last year. So check it out if you haven't yet. I'll have a link down below in the description box. We just talk about poker hands and other poker-related topics. I think it's a super good resource in order to improve your game. So if you're interested in getting feedback from me or anyone else, then feel free to share a hand on there. I'm going to try and spend about 30 minutes to an hour on there every day for the next, I don't know, month or so. It's something that I really want to develop. I think it's pretty awesome to have that community. Day 2 of the marathon is going to come out soon. That'll be the next video, and that one's going to be pretty cool as well. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys are all doing well. Good luck at the tables, and I'll see you next time. Just got done with the surgery a few minutes ago. As far as pain goes, it's not terrible. It just kind of feels like strep throat. I'm not sure if I imagine I'm still on some pain meds, so those are probably still doing their job. But I kind of remember coming to a little bit. I told the doctors that I was just doing well in poker. And then I think I plugged my YouTube channel for poker. So now I'm just having a popsicle, makes the throat feel a lot better. Looking forward to
going home and getting some rest.